Today's lesson, Reading and Writing 3 and 4 Digit Numbers, is the first lesson in Topic 3 of 4th grade Envision. The guiding question for this lesson is, how can you read and write numbers into the thousands? Let's begin with the vocabulary for this lesson. There are several terms for this lesson. Write these terms and their meanings down in box 1 of your homework sheet. Let's begin with the problem-based interactive learning. An airplane flies at an altitude of 1,358 feet. How many different ways can you represent this number? Please pause the video now and complete this problem. Let's begin. The first thing I will need to do for this problem is I need to underline the number. I know that I need to represent 1,358 feet. The word represent means to show. So I need to show this number in as many ways as I can. And the first way would be exactly the way it is. So I'm going to write down the numbers 1,358 feet, just the way it is. And with those digits the way they are, this is called standard form. Now I know that I can represent this number if I look at each digit alone in the place that it is in the number. I can represent the number that way. So the 1 in the thousands place is really a 1,000. All the digits behind the 1 are zeros. The next digit I'm going to look at is the 3. And that 3 in the hundreds place is 300. Here's the 3, and there's 2 places behind it, so there are 2 zeros. The next digit I'm going to look at is the 5. And there's 1 place behind it. That means it has 1 0. And then the next digit is the 8. And there's nothing behind it, so it's just like the way it is, a single digit number. And when I stretch the number out using zeros, this is called expanded form. Now I can represent this number by just reading it. If I read the number, I can just write it in words. So I'm going to do that. This would be 1,000, and I see the 1,000 right here. So this would be 1,000. This would be 1,000. Next is 300. Okay, the next one is 50. And when I have a 2-digit number like 58, I need a hyphen. 58. So let's see, 1,358. And that represents that number. And the last way I can represent this number is using place value blocks. If I use blocks, I can represent each place in this number. So for 8, I'm going to use little tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And those are going to be my units, my ones. Now in the tens place, I need to represent 50. And I use rods or tens to represent 50. So how many would I need? 5. That's right, 5. Because this rod represents 10. This would be 20, 30, 40, 50. 5 rods is 50. Now I need to represent 300. And those are represented using flats, just squares. So that's 100. 200, and that's 300. And lastly, 1,000. And 1,000, don't forget, is 10 flats. So I will represent this using 1 cube. And so the way you draw a cube is you can draw a square, and then you lay another one right on top of it, overlapping in any corner. It doesn't matter. And then you just connect. So this number, 1,358, is represented here by place value blocks or models. And that's how you represent a number. Let's look at another example. A bicycle racer is 12,360 feet above sea level. Write 12,360 in standard form, expanded form, and word form. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Sorry about that. So let's see. First, we need to write it in standard form. So that means we're just going to write down the number. That's standard form. And go ahead and write standard form right next to it so you become familiar. Hold on. Standard. Oops. Sorry. There we go. So you become familiar with how each representation looks. Now we're going to do expanded form, which means we're going to stretch out this number using digits. We're going to start with the 1 in the 10,000s place. So you write down the 1, I like to cross it off, and then everything behind it is a 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 digits and a comma. Plus, now I'm going to cross off the 2, and then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, comma, plus, next I'm going to cross off the 3, and then 1, 2 zeros, plus, cross off the 6, and then 1 0, plus, and there's the 0 is nothing, so we're just going to leave it off. So you don't even need to put that there. So let's put our equal sign. This is expanded form. Now I need to write this in word form, and I'm going to read it right from my expanded form. This would be 10,000, 2,360. Would that be the right way to write this number? No. So you have to look back up here, and what I like to do is I read right up to the comma. So this would be 12, and then the comma says 1,000. So 12,000. You need the comma. The comma says 1,000. And then you just read this side. This is 360. 12,000. 300. $60. And that's how you represent this number in standard, expanded, and word form. Now lastly, what we need to do is that we need to follow our last direction, which is we need to find the value of a digit. When I'm looking at the value of the digit, expanded form really helps me. If I'm looking for, let's say I'm looking for, let's put blue. Let's say I want the value of just the 3. If I want the value of just the 3, it wants to know how much the 3 is worth in that place. And it's worth 300. So the value of the 3 is 300. If it wants the value of the 1, the value of the 1 is, and you're going to look at the expanded form, that's going to help you. 10,000. Sorry, my comma looks like one, so I wanted to change it. Okay, so that's how you figure out the value of a digit. So expanded form really helps with the value of the digit. It's how much it's worth in that place. If I changed its place, it would be worth a different amount. And so that's how you represent numbers. Okay, let's go on to guided practice. In 1 through 4, write the word form and tell the value of the red digit in each number. Okay, so what I'm going to do is write the word form over on the side. I'm going to choose to do numbers 1 and 4 only. So number 1, I look up to the comma, and remember that comma says thousands, so this is 15,000. And then I read the second side. 320, and two-digit numbers need a hyphen, 4. Now I need to find the value of this 3 that's in the hundreds place. The value of that 3 in the hundreds place is 300. Okay, let's look at number 4. I'm going to write this number in word form. So I'm going to start by looking on this side of the comma. So I see 275. I can see that 3-digit number right there. So I'm going to write 200 70-5, and then that comma says, that's right, 1,000. So I need the comma. Now I'm going to read this side over here. I see 206. 206. And now I need to find the value of the 7. So I can use expanded form to help me. I put down my 7, and all the spaces behind it are zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the value. 70,000 is the value of that digit. Now we need to write 5 and 6 in expanded form. So I'm going to begin, and I think I'm going to choose to write 6 in expanded form. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to begin by crossing off my 6. And everything behind it is 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 spaces in the comma, plus I'm going to cross off the 3, and everything behind it is 0. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to cross off the next 3, and there's 2 spaces behind it, so that's 2 zeros, plus there's a 0. Now I can choose to add the 0 or not. And then just 8, and that's expanded form. Now it's your turn. Please do 10 through 17 on your own in box 3 of your homework sheet. And to connect to the concept, what is the greatest 6-digit number you can write, and what is the smallest 6-digit number you can write? If If you have any questions or comments, please bring those to class. Thank you, and that's all for now.